Ryan Poles has a monster of a decision to make when it comes to the future of the Chicago Bears' franchise. A decision so big, it can radically change the 2024 NFL draft. Do they build around or move on from Justin Fields? Fields has shown plenty of flashes, but at the same time, we've seen plenty of lowlights as well. Maybe a change of scenery is what's best for Justin Fields, and we'll explore that option today the only way I know how, in a mock draft. We'll go through every possible destination and the likelihood that Fields will land there. But of course, we got to start with this first overall pick being the Chicago Bears. See, the Bears get an opportunity to reset the rookie contract of their quarterback by using the first overall pick, thank you Panthers by the way, to draft the new face of the franchise. They can trade Justin Fields and get extra picks. Most people kind of agree that Fields at least warrants day two picks, which is great. If they can get an early to mid second round pick for Fields, then that replaces the pick that they used to get Montez Sweat. You got to understand that when it comes to Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, they did not draft Justin Fields. If a GM and a head coach are going to stake their jobs on the back of a quarterback, it's usually going to be their guy. And that's why I think it's more likely that they use this pick on quarterback. So again, we're exploring different trade destinations for Justin Fields. So let's go ahead and make this pick Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears. And now we move on to the New England Patriots. Let's be honest, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, they aren't the futures at the quarterback position for the Patriots. See, the New England Patriots, they can make a move for Fields and use their second overall pick in this draft to select Marvin Harrison Jr. And I actually find that very interesting. I actually really like that pick quite a lot, because you already know with the Bears moving on for Fields, that first overall pick's going to be quarterback. So now you're in the driver's seat to take Marvin Harrison Jr. But I'm not sure that the Patriots would take a flyer on Fields. I think they would much rather take a rookie QB on a 4-year deal instead of using the 1-year prove it type of deal with Justin Fields, especially since we don't really know the future of Bill Belichick right now. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Drake May here for the New England Patriots. Next, we got the Arizona Cardinals, and we can make a discussion here. We honestly can. The Cardinals, they would have to do a lot, right, to move on from Kyler Murray, because golly, man, if they were going to trade Kyler Murray, it'll get them quite a haul. But this, at the same time, it would also require the other team taking on some of the dead cap, because it's a pretty large dead cap hit with Kyler Murray. That's why I just don't think financially it's really possible. And in this scenario, we're just going to go ahead and take Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Arizona Cardinals and just continue to build around Kyler Murray. This one's interesting. The Washington Commanders, they truly are. Sam Howell has definitely shown some flashes this season, but as of late, he's looking less like the guy, so to speak, right? And the Washington Commanders will likely still be in the quarterback market, especially if or when Ron Rivera gets fired. They have day 2 picks to spare by trading Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And they've already done business with the Bears for Montez Sweat. So this could be a situation where, okay, they trade for Fields, and then they use this pick to address the offensive line. And they have the playmakers like Terry McLaurin. You got Jahan Dotson. They got playmakers there. Brian Robinson's shown a bit. They have the playmakers to potentially make this a quick turnaround. However, the defense does need quite a bit of work. And having a QB on a rookie deal, I think, is much more alluring than Fields, who will cost much more after the 2024 season. If you're unaware, he will then get slapped with if they like what they see, he'll get slapped with the 5th-year option, which right now at this time would be $23 million for the 2025 season. So maybe not the most ideal way to go. I think in this scenario, I'll probably just stick with Sam Howell for another year. I think he's done enough to at least show we could stick with him for one more season, though I think it could be an interesting spot for quarterback 3. And I think quarterback 3 might be a bit more likely than trading for Justin Fields. So we'll go ahead. We'll take, I'm going to take Joe Alt in this scenario. Listen, Olu Fashanu and Joe Alt, they're like OT 1A and OT 1B. That's kind of how it is. Now we're back here with the Chicago Bears' pick. I think if they want to go defense with this pick, they probably should trade out of it. Because being here, you're kind of looking at Malik Neighbors like, oh man, that would be so fun to pair up with DJ Moore for our new franchise quarterback. And that's kind of where I'm going to go. I say kind of. That is where I'm going. I like that actually quite a bit. Now let's talk the New York Football Giants. This would be ironic. Just very, very ironic since the Bears traded up with the Giants to draft Justin Fields. Kind of wild how that kind of comes full circle potentially. The only problem I see with this is the Giants already have a quarterback that they don't know yet is their guy in Daniel Jones. And I don't think they would probably want to acquire another one of those guys who they just, okay, is he or isn't he? Why have two of those on the roster? I think it would probably be better at this pick for the Giants if they really want to bring in competition at the quarterback spot. Take that flyer on like a Jaden Daniels, who as an improviser is kind of top tier. It led to his Heisman victory. You could go with offensive line. I think I'm much more intrigued by taking a quarterback here for the Giants. Even if I have to force it, even if I feel like quarterback 3, I'd rather trade back and maybe get him. I mean, quarterbacks, when it comes to the draft, their value always gets shot up the board. So I feel like that'll probably happen with Jaden Daniels. But hey, real quick, what's crack-a-lackin'? I'm your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Now, we have a couple of teams that I think are not going to draft Fields, obviously, or draft Fields, trade for Fields. The New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback in 2024. Why bring in Fields on, hey, this is like a 1 year prove it? If Aaron Rodgers is already your quarterback for next year, they're probably going to address the offensive line. So we'll go with Olu here. The Chargers just extended Justin Herbert. This isn't a likely destination. We're going to take Brock Bowers here. And then the Tennessee Titans, I think they've seen quite enough in Will Levis to be like, oh yeah, no, next year it's going to be great, but we need to build around this cat. Kind of an awkward position, like not probably the best place to take a tackle. You'd probably want to move down. I'm trying to think of other scenarios. You could take Roma Dunze, but I kind of want an after the catch guy. But I mean, Roma Dunze is a really good separator. That's the thing here. I mean, do we take a defender? I mean, I'm not gonna think too much into this since this is more of a where will Justin Fields land video than it is a mock draft. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take JC Latham. I mean, the offensive line's really, really that bad. But now we get to Atlanta. Very interesting. I think the Atlanta Falcons would be a very good spot for Fields to land, because he's the type of quarterback that Arthur Smith would love to have running his offense. But, I mean, even if Arthur Smith isn't the head coach, I don't think the Falcons want to go into next season with their quarterbacks being Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke. I don't think they want those guys competing for the starting job. But this is a great situation for Justin Fields, as he will have a top 5 pass block and offensive line loaded with great playmakers such as Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. I think this is probably one of the most likely scenarios. However, I think we're just going to go ahead and, so we can explore other scenarios, we'll go ahead and draft a different position here. I'm not going to go quarterback with Jaden Daniels off the board, but I'm going to go with defender. Whether that's, I think that's probably Dallas Turner, because, you know, the Atu Latu, if you don't know, kind of has some of the injury concerns with the neck. So medicals are going to be really important to his evaluation. All right, now we move on to the Green Bay Packers. I think they're fine with Jordan Love right now. I think there's enough there to where they want to probably go elsewhere. I think this is a good spot to get the top corner off the board. I'm gonna go with Kool-Aid here. I'm a big Kool-Aid guy. I love grape flavored, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead with a corner here. We could, if you want to talk why Packers could go corner in the draft, then just hit me up in the comment section. Okie dokie, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. Another very interesting spot. And like I went in and really tried to think about it, because like this team, they're not in position to get a Caleb Williams, a Drake May. And it's honestly, it's highly unlikely they'll be in position to get quarterback 3, whoever that may be in this class. Aiden O'Connell's had some nice games and he's loved by his teammates. However, coming out of the 2023 draft, he was projected as a high-end backup. So I think it would be wise to not put all your eggs in one basket and instead bring in more competition at the most important spot on an NFL roster. See, and this is another interesting tidbit here. The Raiders interim GM, Champ Kelly, was a part of the Bears organization that drafted Justin Fields. Just trying to connect the dots here, guys. I'm just trying to connect the dots. This is another great situation actually for Fields, as you would have a top half of the league pass blocking unit with plenty of playmakers. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, you got Michael Mayer, and I assume they will get a deal done with Josh Jacobs. So I think this is a highly likely option. It's right up there with Atlanta, but we're to explore other options, or at least more options. I'm gonna go ahead and just take a different player for the Raiders here, and I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm gonna actually go with an edge player. I think I'm gonna take Liatu Latu. Like, the dude is that good. He is that good. Because they've been playing Tyree Wilson quite a bit on the interior, but I mean, you get a versatile player there. Who's to say you can't have him, Max Crosby, and Liatu Latu all on the field at the same time? So yeah, we're gonna run it there. New Orleans Saints. Ooh. See, the Saints would probably love a quarterback. I know there might be some Derek Carr truthers out there, but I ain't one of them. I think, yeah, no, quarterback. I would love to be able to get another quarterback in New Orleans there. However, the Saints, they're in cap hell, and they need to get cheaper for the future. Unfortunately, Justin Fields isn't that guy. If he plays well for them in 2024, then they'll probably slap him with the 5th-year option, and in 2025, he'll cost anywhere north of $23 million onto the cap. And then after that, you'll have to if he continues to play well, you're going to have to re-sign him. And at that point, it's like, okay, yeah, no, your cap is kind of restrained, and you probably won't have a ton of great talent on the roster, at least when it comes to the depth. So I just don't think they're in a great position to do that. I think they probably are better off drafting that guy than going out and getting Fields. So we'll just go ahead. We'll draft here for the Saints. I think I like an edge player for the Saints. I think I do. And I think I will go with one. I'll go with Jared Verse there on the outside. Okay, Denver Broncos, another team that could be unsatisfied with their return on Russell Wilson, right? They could be looking to bring in competition, but if they choose to do that, then it's probably better to do so in the draft, because financially, I just don't see them being able to make that work with Justin Fields, considering Russell Wilson's current contract. So I think they're another team that's probably more likely to go look for that option in the draft. I'm not going to do it with this pick. Roma Duenze is here, and he's like hella good. Pairing him up with Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims. I just imagine Jerry Jeudy's probably gone after this season. So we're going to snag him there. Oh, the Seattle Seahawks. Another interesting situation, as I think in terms of they're in a similar boat, I would say, as the Saints and the Broncos, just in a bit of a better cap situation. See, they're probably better off looking at the NFL draft if they want to bring in competition for the quarterback position. Like, we've seen good Drew Lock this year, just this past week against the Eagles. We've seen Geno Smith have some flashes, so maybe they just want those guys to compete. So I just think they're probably really unlikely destination for Justin Fields. So we're going to go ahead and pick here for the Seattle Seahawks. They're such a tough team to pick for. But we'll go ahead and make that decision. I'm thinking Cooper DeJean. I know people might think this is crazy. I think I'm going to go with Cooper DeJean. I think if you look at him as a safety, now I'm here explaining the Seattle Seahawks pick. If you look at him as a safety, then Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, I think those guys are probably out. And also, Rick Woolen was benched just this past game. Maybe just grabbing more competition, talent at the corner position isn't a bad idea, especially if they have the versatility to play safety. Now we're here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would say they're in a very similar situation as the Giants are, as they are hoping that they have their guy. However, the Steelers are in a much better situation compared to the Giants because Kenny Pickett is still on his rookie deal. Apparently Gojo didn't like that. But Kenny Pickett's still on his rookie deal, opposed to Daniel Jones, who they gave him a 4-year deal. Granted, they have an opt-out after year 2. It makes more sense, I think, for the Steelers to bring in a really good offensive coordinator and hope that it fixes Pickett and the Steelers' offense than rather bringing in Fields, who has one less year on his deal than Pickett. So with the Steelers here, honestly, I think I'm going to take Nate Wiggins because they could use more help and more depth in the cornerback room. You can make a great case for a tackle here, but I think the way the board fell, I'm just going to go with this. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Now we're here with the Cardinals. We kind of discussed them already. I think this is probably a good spot to go defensive for the Cardinals. I really like Drazon Newton. You're going to be pairing this guy up with Dante Stills, who's having a solid rookie year. So we're going to go with that one there. We got the Buffalo Bills. Keon Coleman, very fascinating pick here for the Bills. I think I'll just go with that because they have Josh Allen. We don't need to think about Justin Fields. But now we're here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this is one I really got into, right? So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are rather in a sticky situation at quarterback because Baker Mayfield has played well at portions of this season. Like, he has played really well at portions this season. But he's only on a 1-year deal. He'll probably be worth anywhere between 15 to 20 million a year just to keep, and it might be more advantageous to draft quarterback 4 or quarterback 5 at their current draft position. However, if they're not in love with any of those prospects, it might not be a bad option to trade for Justin Fields. Like, you really think about it. Like, man, you bring him in, you get one. I mean, they just brought in Baker Mayfield, who was kind of on a prove-it deal, and Justin Fields has 1 year left in his deal, and it's kind of a prove-it season for him. And there is a lot of good talent around this team, both defensively and offensively. Yeah, do they have holes? Of course. They got to figure out also what's going on with Mike Evans. But it's actually kind of a good situation that's kind of cost effective because it's not going to cost you a first round pick. So a bit interesting. It gives you a bigger upside quarterback opposed to going back to the well with a more expensive Baker Mayfield. But again, there's other teams we could talk about, so I'm going to go ahead with a different position here, and I'm just going to take Chop Robinson, get them more pass rush. Okay, we're here at the Minnesota Vikings, and I know Bears fans, just hear me out. Let's just run through the thought exercise. Kirk Cousins is going to be a free agent. He's coming off a very impressive year with the Minnesota Vikings that unfortunately ended with injury. He tore his ACL, and he could be back for training camp in like the July, August type of area. I think that's where the time frame is at right now. But he will also be turning 36 next season. Will the Vikings retain him? Who knows? That's kind of the question. They could decide to go in a younger direction, but they're in a similar situation as to the Bucs in terms of where they're drafting and what quarterbacks will be there. Will be available for him. It'll be quarterback 4, maybe even quarterback 5 in some scenarios. Now, it's highly unlikely that the Bears trade away Justin Fields to a division rival, which just doesn't make them a plausible destination, but you know what they say, never say never. I thought I'd at least bring it up. Just for that, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take my next quarterback, with it being Bo Nix. JJ McCarthy could be up in this running as well. You hear the NFL really likes him. And now we got the Los Angeles Rams. Now, Matthew Stafford, if you didn't see Thursday Night Football, the dude is playing some good football. And if the Los Angeles Rams honestly wanted to invest in a younger quarterback, they're probably going to do it through the draft. I think they might be seeing we have now this new Super Bowl window. Let's start spending and get what we can out of Matthew Stafford and some of our young playmakers like Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams and such. So I just don't think they're a likely candidate. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to actually take a tackle here. Armarius Mims, kick that cat out to left tackle. We got the Colts here. They just drafted a quarterback last season in Anthony Richardson. They're probably not a likely candidate. I'm going to go with Terrion Arnold, get more competition at the quarterback position. Likewise, T. Law, he's probably going to sign a big deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're just not a likely candidate here for Fields. I think I really would like to get them a receiver. My next guy up here is actually Brian Thomas, so we'll go with that. We have the Cincinnati Bengals. They got Joe Shiesty. They got Joe Burrow. They have no need for Justin Fields, so we're going to take Talanisa Fuaga. Bam, they got their right tackle. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, they got Patrick Mahomes. They don't need Justin Fields, so no reason to talk about them here. Let's get them a receiver. I'm going to go with... I'm kind of torn between an A.D. Mitchell and a Troy Franklin. I'm going to go with A.D. Mitchell. I like A.D. Mitchell. Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud looks like the future. No need to discuss this one, boys and girls. No need to discuss this one. Big question is what to get them. I think I'm going to actually just go with Kamari Lassiter. I kind of liked that pick recently. Detroit Lions. Jared Goff's kind of been a bit up, been a bit down. They're also division rivals. It's highly unlikely. They did draft Hendon Hooker last season. We don't need to discuss this one much. Let's just give them some edge rush. Pair up with Aiden Hutchinson. Philadelphia Eagles. They literally just signed Jalen Hurts. No real reason to talk about this one either. What do the Eagles need? Probably corner. Their secondary is kind of So let's go Quinion Mitchell, man. Let's get a little Toledo love in here. Oh man, my Miami Dolphins. Fins up, baby. Fins up. That's right. No, they're probably gonna be looking to extend Tua. I would love for them to get an offensive lineman in this spot. Honestly, Troy Fautanu is not a bad option if we lose Robert Hunt. And also, like, Terry Arnold just can't stay healthy, so we get a guard tackle with 1 pick, so I don't mind that. Dallas Cowboys, could they look for the heir apparent to Dak? No, well, I mean, I'm sure they're trying to develop Trey Lance, who they now have, so I don't think they bring in Justin Fields. It just doesn't make sense time-wise. I think they expect Dak to have a few more very viable seasons. So what are we going to get for the Cowboys? I'm going to go with my boy Jackson Powers Johnson. Huge fan. San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy is the future. Brock Purdy is everything. I would love to see Justin Fields in a Kyle Shanahan offense, but sorry. Purdy kind of is that guy. He just kind of is. So what do we get for Purdy? It's actually a fairly all right question to ask. I like Kingsley Sumatea. That's kind of dope. He'll immediately be a right tackle, could be the left tackle of the future too. They're on Trent Williams. And then finally in this draft, we have Baltimore Ravens. They have Lamar Jackson. I'm sure they're very excited about their Lamar Jackson, so they won't consider it. Let's just go with Leonard Taylor in this scenario. That kind of concludes the draft, but we can talk about a couple of the teams that aren't in the first round, like maybe the Cleveland Browns. Sean Watson hasn't looked that good, and I mean, look, Joe Flacco comes in and suddenly it's like, oh wow, no, this offense can move. Listen, they're so pot committed to Deshaun Watson, that ain't happening. Carolina Panthers, you think they're gonna they just traded the world for stinking Bryce Young? You think they're really gonna just call it quits now? No, they're at least gonna ride him for 1 more year. So when it comes to my top candidates, my top landing spots, the 2 that I like extremely are the Raiders and the Falcons. I think those are the 2 most likely landing spots, and there's some dots you can connect there. My next group would be the Bucs and the Commanders, because I think they have very, very nice situations. And I know some people are like, oh, the Commanders haven't been that good. It's like, oh, they got weapons, and then they'll have draft picks. So they also got a free agency. I don't know, with a little bit of turmoil currently with the Ron Rivera, how much of the coaching staff will they axe? I think it makes the Bucs a bit more likely. And then finally, the New England Patriots. I kind of like that idea of trading for Fields and then drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. That just sounds super cool. But regardless, those are my top landing spots. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. Where do you think Justin Fields will be? Is it back in Chicago? Because honestly, I think it's like a 60-40 right now. I'm kind of split on that, but I am firmly can't trade away Fields, draft a quarterback. But I think Fields honestly could succeed elsewhere. Remember, if you're not familiar with the channel, I was a big fan of Justin Fields coming out of the draft process. But again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want to check out mock drafts, I did one earlier this week, so go ahead, take a gander at that sucker. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.